Mm, mm, mm. Oh boy, y'all heard it. Y'all saw it. Is Will Smith gonna have to slap a nigga? Oh boy, this is crazy, bro. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the morning stream, CJK Experience in the morning. Happy that you all could be tuned in this morning. And we're not gonna beat around the bush. We know why we here. But before we get into it, my name is Chris Shelton, aka CJ Kyles, aka the High Value Nurse. Checking in once again. Back with another video. I'm gonna be honest, y'all. I did not want to talk about this morning. I really had no interest in talking about Will Smith and Jada. We've been talking about them for the last 2 years, and I was really tired of it. But the streets gotta eat. Shout out to Star, aka Troy Terrain. Y'all saw it. And if y'all didn't see it, I'm gonna see if I can pull it up. The slap heard all around the world. Oh, man. What's going on? I feel a few different ways about this. I'm gonna keep it a stack. And if y'all wanna come on, if y'all wanna hop in, come on through. If y'all wanna hop in. But I feel a few different ways about this. Last night at the Oscars, Chris Rock was hosting. I think this is like his 8th time hosting. And Chris Rock made a joke about Will Smith and his wife. Well, it wasn't so much Will Smith, but his wife. Well, he did make a joke about Will Smith. Matter of fact, before we get into it, let me just play it. I'll play it for you. Let me play it for you. I know y'all used to me talking about nursing stuff, but some things just have to be addressed. What's up, Black Man? I'm about to get you in here 1 second. Let me get my headphones. Hello, Black Man. You good? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. What's going on, brother?
Man, I was watching that stuff last night, bro, and I feel I felt a couple different ways about it. At first glance, before I knew the details, before I knew why he did what he did, I just knew that he made a joke, and he said that Jada was looking like G.I. Jane. And as far as I know, Will Smith got up and slapped the nigga real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Now, at first glance, I thought that was corny. Off first glance. But I thought about it. And I said, well, it's only so far. Because it's only so far that people are going to go. And it's only so much people are going to take, because I get that Chris Rock is a comedian. I understand that he's a comedian. But you could tell from the look on Will Smith's face, he's embarrassed. Now, for those of you who are not aware, this goes all the way back to a couple years ago with this whole entanglement bullshit, which I'm so tired of talking about. But apparently Jada has alopecia, and which is a condition that causes your hair to fall out. It's an autoimmune disorder. I didn't know this till yesterday, because I don't follow Jada. I don't know if Chris Rock follows Jada. Now, I'm guessing since they all are in those circles, maybe he will be more aware than I would. But if my lady had a disease that caused her to change her appearance physically, you know what I'm saying? Like and somebody said that, I will feel some type of way. Now, let me play it real quick for those, and I'm about to get y'all in. What's up, Danny?
Hey.
What up? Let me share the screen. I'm gonna play it for the people who have not seen it. I'm sure the whole planet has seen it by now, but just in case you have not, and I'm gonna keep it real with y'all too, I think it's fake. I think it's fake. I don't know why they would fake something like this, but I really do think it's fake because as a man, you always have to be ready. You just made a joke about another man's wife, and then you see the man's wife walking up on you. You think this nigga is finna hug you? Or are you just, or has Will Smith just made it that comfortable for niggas to just say what they want about him? You know, and Chris Rock just had absolutely no fear of Will Smith at all, even after making a joke about his wife. Because comedians get ran up on. I've seen that before. So let me see. Oh, there's a slap. And Chris Rock proceeds to say, keep my wife's name. I mean, he just says that Will Smith just slapped the ish out of me. He looks a little shook. And at this point, Will is saying, keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth. Name out your fucking mouth. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. One more time. Pow. And I'm like, here's why I think it's fake. And I'm going to get y'all input real quick. It looks like Chris Rock just stuck his head out for him to slap him. Literally. It looked like he bent over, put his neck out. Pow! I don't know. What y'all think? It's early. What y'all think?
I don't know. You know, my whole take on the situation is, you know, like I said, you know, maybe he didn't know about alopecia, but man, a lot of people have alopecia, man. And I think comedians take serious situations and make them funny. And that's what comedians do. I was just sitting here watching Skip and Shannon, and they asked Shannon about it on the Skip and Shannon show this morning. And Shannon said it. Shannon said, if I'm a comedian and I make that comment about, you know, her hair or whatever, and we laugh it off, and he walks up on me, Shannon said, and he slaps me. Shannon said, I'm coming out that tux and I'm gonna beat his ass all over that stage.
Facts.
Right? Facts. And he said, Will would have had a very bad night if that was me. Right? And because I think myself personally, if I say a joke and I'm a comedian, this is what I do for a living, and I'm up here talking about all these white folks and these white men, and he said, just think about it. 30 seconds before he said something to Will and Jada, he just talked about a white couple, and they were sitting there laughing their asses off, and the white dude didn't get up on stage and slap him. Right? Go back and watch it. Right before that, he did a whole soliloquy on this white couple sitting right next to Will Smith, and that white man was over there just laughing and having a good time. He didn't. But the thing that looks bad is you got two black men, prominent multi-millionaire black men. It shows you that no matter what height we get at, we always get to a point where we still got to act a damn nigga, bro. Will Smith was like a damn clown last night, bro. Getting on stage because somebody said something. You think this is gonna be the last? And my thing is this: you get on stage and you slap Chris Rock, but a nigga just pile drive your wife for a year behind your back.
Wait. We gotta slow it down. They were according to them, they were separated, and Will knew. He knew about that situation, so I can't use that because niggas is talking about why he didn't do that to August. August had permission, and plus they were separated. Will Smith also admitted to them being in an open relationship. He admitted it. So I think what it was personally, and I do think this was a bad look for black folks. But nigga, there's always a low level. What Kevin say? There's always between men is always a low level chance of violence. always, you don't know how somebody gonna react. And I'm sorry. And I have to understand. I get it. Because I'm gonna tell you something, black man. Maybe it's the setting, but I'm sure I can't just go around and say what I want to say about your wife, even if it is a joke. Because everybody don't take it the same way. Because you can't just say what you in my now internet. That's one thing, but you're not gonna just say what you want to say about my chick in front of me. Because I don't know. I understand Will. I get his point, and maybe he could have handled it better. But sometimes. But here's why I'm fighting. Because if a white comedian would have said that, I don't know if Will would have did that.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. If that was Jerry Seinfeld or damn Adam Sandler, Will Smith wouldn't have said nothing, bro.
I don't know if Will would have did that. If it was a gay comedian, I don't know if Will would have did that.
Right. Right.
Now the man in me, the protector in me, understands why Will did what he did. Yeah. Shout out to Anti-Social Elite Podcast. She said the Jada's expression put a battery in his back.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because if you go back and watch it, Will was laughing at the damn joke until he looked over at Jada. Go back and watch it. He was laughing his ass off at the damn G.I. Jane joke, and then he looked over at Jada and he was like, "Oh shit! How can I fix this? It's got to be epic. Let me go slap this nigga."
Danny, can I get you in there, and then I'm gonna get Mr. Best in the World. I got Dre right here. What's up, Dre?
What up, man?
What up? All right, go ahead, Danny. What you think?
So initially, when I saw it, I was like, "How you gonna get mad at a joke? Like, it's a joke. Like, that's not cool." But then I'm like, for Will, I'm like, that's cool. It's his wife. I guess if that's what she needed for him to do, he did it, I guess. I don't know. That was crazy. But I think it's crazy, Like he was saying that he was just talking about somebody else. I don't watch the Grammy, so I didn't even know that part, but I'd imagine that he would be talking about other people. And it's just like, it's not his fault that you're not secure in whatever you got going on. Right. You up here flossing this bald head everywhere on this red table talking about all your little business. You supposed to be strong. You gotta have thicker skin than that. You out here putting your stuff out here like that. So
I agree with you.
I think it's crazy that you putting your husband in a position to possibly be fighting all up on camera, defending how you feeling. Cause you know what I'm saying? Like Lamont was saying, like, you can't control somebody's response. I'm like, yeah, but not had Chris Rock actually responded, we couldn't blame him either, though. However, he had wanted to respond to that.
No, Chris Rock should have went off in his ass.
Oh yeah, or what if Chris Rock would have picked that microphone up and busted back his head open? You know what I'm saying? Like, just think about it.
Whatever he had, if he did want to do anything, we wouldn't have been able to say nothing about his response either. Like, kudos to him for having such composure to even just be shocked and stunned to just be froze. And then my husband also felt like that it was fake. But I'm like, you think so? He like, yeah.
Nothing about that seemed real to me. Where was the security?
Because why would they think they need to be there?
Right. Why would they think they need to be there? In a place like that, you don't seek no violence.
No. Especially Will Smith. Did you see how time he strolled up there? It didn't even look like he was going up there to do that. Like,
but as a man, my instinct gonna tell me if I just made a joke about this nigga's wife and he's walking up so casual.
Oh yeah.
My defense is going up. Don't worry.
I mean, I agree, but I'm just saying.
I gotta stand on that. It's a chance that if I say something reckless, somebody might not like it. So I'm like, I'm backing up. It's like Chris stuck his neck out for him to slap him, and pow! That was it. Now I get it. I get Chris didn't want to cause no scene or whatever. But now Will Smith has won this Oscar, and nobody gives a fuck. Nobody cared that he won the Oscar. Only thing the world is gonna notice for is that, oh yeah, is that the time Will Smith smacked that nigga?
Yep. Yep, that's all they're gonna say. He was a stupid nigga. They look at the wife was saying, you know what? And then your wife 2 years ago boycotted the Oscars because no black people were nominated. And then the year your husband get nominated, he on stage acting a damn fool.
Don't. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Chris Rock, I promise you, I beg God this morning, God, can you please go back and put my soul in Chris Rock? I would have beat the fuck out of Will Smith, bro. I would have ruined his acting career. I would have beat the fuck out of him, bro. Like, it would have been really, really bad for his life, bro.
Yeah.
What if Chris Rock?
Let me get Mr. Best in the World. What's going on, sir?
What's going on, family? Peace to everybody on the panel. Good to see y'all, man. It's funny, man, to me, like, you know, man, entertainers can't even entertain no more, man. If this was back in the day, Richard Pryor would have said that about Sidney Poitier. They would have laughed about it. And if Sidney felt something, he would have brought, you know, Richard Pryor in the back. They would have talked about it as men. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, now everybody wants to put on a spectacle on the show. And not only that, man, the thing that gets me is the fact that your wife has been being dragged in the streets for the last year or two. And you ain't have the same energy with any of these dudes, man.
No, nobody.
50
Cent. Yeah, that's what I was about to say, bro. 50 Cent dragged ass, man.
All
I
this
said
I've
that to
seen
Diddy last night too. I said he knew who to do that to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, family. Here's the thing, y'all. Right? Have y'all ever listened to that Entanglement song? Have you ever read the lyrics?
Very disrespectful.
Super disrespectful. No, we're gonna have to come see me, bro. Super disrespectful. I have the willpower.
Yeah, Rick Ross said
I was
that. Very
jaded?
disrespectful song. Very.
What? Nah, man. If you let that slide, you can't say nothing to nobody else. You can't come see about nobody until you see about August. You got to see that, man. And however you got to see him. And I don't want to hear everybody making excuses. I don't want to hear that Will Smith don't have time. I don't want to hear he has enough money and resources that he could have been handled it. If that is the case, then he needs to go handle it. Then they need to go have a sit down. He need to have that dude need to make a public apology. All that, man. And if that ain't happening, he don't need to be having no energy for Chris Rock or anybody else. He should have sat his behind right in that seat. And if he really felt something, he should have handled it backstage. But he didn't do that. You know what I mean? Because to me, in a relationship, he's the woman and she's the man. And that's clear. And then on top of that, you know what I mean? You got brung on that red table talk and you let her say all the stuff to you? She admits, you know what I mean, that she was giving sloppy and all types of stuff to this young boy. You ain't do nothing about that? Nothing? Nah, bro. Nah.
And then what was your protection at when she was dragging your ass on red table talk? Man, get out of here with that shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Will did that shit. Will knew who to do that shit to, bro. If 50 Cent would have presented that award last night, you think he would have got there and slapped 50? 50 would have wore his ass out, bro.
On stage.
Drake,
backstage.
Drake, come back. I was gonna have you go next, but yeah, man. I feel like this is why you have to watch who you have as your spouse, because I feel like Will's manhood has been tested. Even if they are in an open relationship and they knew about this, Will has been now placed in a position that, okay, people was clowning me. They've been clowning me for a year and a half. Now this cat is clowning me to my face and has absolutely no fear, no consequence, no nothing, not worried about what I would do to him. And then the look on Jada's face probably influenced him. And see, this is why if I ever got famous or if I ever was truly in the spotlight, I would hate to have somebody like a Jada on my team. Like my girl, she don't want to be famous or anything like that. She do the traveling heartbeats with me. She not trying to be in the spotlight like that. That's cool. This is what happens when you have your woman constantly trying to compete with you.
Yep.
Constantly trying to and I'm not blaming. I'm not trying to blame all Jada all the way, because Will did what he did. He made that decision because he didn't have to do nothing. But the protector in me does understand that you're not going to just talk reckless in my face about somebody I care about. Even though it is a comedic thing, it's a comedic thing. It's always a chance. That's why I be very careful, because everybody don't play about their wife. Everybody not going to play. And that's the line that comedians have to watch, especially in today's age. Niggas is shooting quick over small stuff. James, can I get you up in here?
Hey, what's up, Dope? Thank you for having me on the panel, man. I disagree with you for several reasons on
All
regards
right,
to playing with the comment, the comedy and the joke.
Mhm.
I'm almost 40, right? I
Correct.
grew up with Def Comedy Jam, all the most craziest things. The comedy,
Facts.
you know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Will is not 25 years old.
Mm.
You see what I'm going with this? Like I said this to my man early on. It's like we act like we soft. Black folks have said the most harshest, craziest things to one another.
Mhm.
Will is grown up in an era where he's seen all that. So when by Chris Rock saying, G.I. Jane 2.0, I didn't even think, first of all, to me, it wasn't even offensive because at the end of the day,
Exactly.
the G.I. Jane that movie did pretty well. Let's keep it 100.
Great movie. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? It wasn't a terrible movie. That's one. Number two, okay, you have alopecia. I'm sorry to have that, but it doesn't reference in a sense where you act like Chris actually knew you had the disease.
Mm.
And this is one of the things that we need to really dial this in, because we as adults, if you are fortunate to grow up in the 90s and you see all the craziness that happen, this era, we say it all the time, it's getting too soft because it's mitigating so much bad behavior to the point where we can chastise anyone for anything.
Mm.
And the simple fact that Jada herself has been amongst these people, they know Chris Rock, they know how he moves. Just like if I knew how you move, there's certain things I'm not gonna take that serious.
Right.
And the thing that bothered me about Will, the simple fact that you were laughing until you looked at that woman's face.
Mm. Come on, speak on it.
You looked at that woman's face and something like this battery pack, this switch came on. Now you're gonna act all feminine on stage, like, oh, keep your name out my. I'm looking at this. It's like, are you going through a psychological change?
Yeah, hey, dog, it's emasculated entanglement syndrome.
Yeah, like let's keep it. Okay, we all know for a fact that as black men, especially when it comes to the Oscars, and I said this to my man, this is the pinnacle. Regardless if you're gonna fade to the black, whatever, it's the pinnacle of an actor's career or actress's career. So when you are awarded, you're operating in their rules. You have to function in a sense where you understand. And the reason why I think Chris Rock was shocked, he probably thought this dude was gonna say something funny. He gonna say, "Oh, you think you smart, huh?" He thought that's the Will Smith he was gonna get.
You know what would have been player? Not to cut you off, but you know what would have been some player shit if he would have went up there and whispered in his ear, "I need you to apologize to my wife. She wasn't feeling that."
That's a boss move.
And if he would have sat back, and if he would have apologized and sat back down and made nothing of it, that would have been some fly shit.
Or if he would have put his arm around him and brought him backstage.
Well, let me ask you all this. So Jada, if she's the second in command, the third eye, when soon as she saw that nigga get up, she should have grabbed him like, "What are you doing?"
Exactly. Because now you endangering the bag.
Now, okay, so now we know, we can agree. We don't even, I said this to my man, we don't know what contracts Will Hart, they already knew he's winning the Oscars, right? Everybody knew because they already let people know. Boom. So he probably had backdoor deals already signed, like, yo, you about to win this, we got you. Because we know Hollywood, you can't be a single man, especially a single black man, and get all this money. That's why The Rock got married. Everyone you notice reaches a certain height, they're going to have to get married because now they got to show like, oh, I'm responsible, blah, the Hollywood image, just like the presidency. So now you get this grown-ass 51-year-old man go on stage and you got to see him from white society. They're not accustomed to certain things. They laugh at Chris. There's a reason why they bring Chris Rock and they won't bring what's his name, like
Earthquake or some shit.
Yeah,
Corey Holcomb
Cat
or something.
Williams. They ain't bring Cat Williams on there. You know what I'm saying? There's a reason why, because he appeases them, because it's enough for them to say, you know what, I can be entertained, I can take some insults, but it's strictly business. Why? Because we're in a different social class compared to the rest of the world. So when Will Smith did all that craziness, slapping a grown-ass man over a G.I. Jane joke, and like you said, we had a previous couple get cracked on, them white folks are looking at him like, really? You got soft skin like that?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I felt like your bag has to be protected. And I understand why Chris Rock didn't do nothing, but that wouldn't have been me. Will Smith, it would have been a real situation because you're not gonna and slap me on national TV. You look crazy. You look crazy.
Nurse, did you think? Let's be honest here. We didn't expect that from Will.
Nah.
That's why I think
that's the problem. I think that's the problem that Will is having because niggas feel like, regardless of a joke, niggas been disrespecting me for the last 2 years.
But look, come on, bro. Are we disrespecting Will, or is his wife disrespecting him?
Well, exactly. Yeah, his wife was disrespecting him, but then it's songs, and then you got panels, people talk about it.
Yeah, but
saying, well, this
hey man, but Jada, let's get real, man. Jada is the poison in the wine, bro. Everything that motherfucker touched, she destroys it. I mean, look at this.
Yeah.
Look, she has Steph Curry's wife. She has Steph Curry's wife and his mama on her show. When they left that show, Steph Curry's mama got divorced. Steph Curry's wife said she need more attention from men. I mean, dude, like everything she touched, bro. Like, just think about it. Then all her friends, they got a picture with her, Gabrielle Union, Steph Curry's mom, all of them. Like, oh my God, look at this, the League of Shadows. Goddamn.
Yeah, especially, you know what? Yeah, that's some real shit you brought up because when Gabrielle Union and all that was on there, D-Wade started acting the ass. And I ain't gonna get into his business because you know they like to cancel cast. But D-Wade, I said, what do Gabrielle Union have over Dwayne Wade?
My point exactly, bro.
That makes him submit like that.
Yep. He even said it, bro. He said I
submit. He said I'm not the boss. I'm not the leader.
She is.
I said, oh my God, what do she have over this man?
Yep.
To make him submit like that.
Yep.
Shout out to Anti-Social Elite Podcast. She said, humiliation ritual. Is this something deeper? Are y'all conspiracy theorists around here?
Nah, man. I ain't gonna. I won't say it's deeper because this is what happens when you don't have control of your household, man. Like to the point where I saw even Will Smith's son, Jaden, talking about, yeah, that's what we do. Bro,
yeah.
Let's be honest here. We are operating in a matrix that belongs to a higher class society. That at the end of the day, and I said this to my partner, you see those board members at MGM Paramount, they're gonna look at this and they're gonna be like, how do we axe him? Because you already know it's a completely white board.
So y'all think his career is in danger now?
Yes.
Right.
I think
right. I just seen MTV. MTV this morning just canceled the Will Smith roast.
Yep.
I don't blame them.
Really?
Hell yeah. They're not going to do a roast with him, and then the people get up there talking about him. He gonna start hitting everybody.
Yeah. Bro, Nurse, you got.
Damn, I didn't know that.
Nurse.
Yeah.
White society does not anything that they fund, and it is off script. They will cancel you.
Yeah.
Wow.
The venue wasn't appropriate for him to do that, man. I mean, it's not appropriate, period, for you to go smack another man in public like that. But the venue was definitely not appropriate. And you know, if you do that, you know when Chris Rock ain't gonna act out because he don't want to lose that opportunity.
Hell no.
You know what I'm saying? He's not gonna act out, and you know that Chris Rock ain't that type of dude. Let's just be honest.
Yeah,
he's not that dude. The dude that was that dude, you didn't do nothing to. You let them run around making diss tracks. You ain't do nothing to these cats.
Y'all think he would have did that to Dave Chappelle?
No.
Hell no.
No way.
Or Cat Williams, hell no.
And I think Dave Chappelle's joke probably would have been worse than that shit.
Way worse.
I think Dave Chappelle would have got off in his ass.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because Chris Rock has this image, you know, everybody hates Chris. He getting bullied. Nobody really takes him serious as far as, you know, a threat.
Yeah, but again, that's why white society likes him.
Yeah, he's not a threat. I think Dave was smacking nigga.
Oh yeah.
Easy.
So I mean, so what do y'all think is gonna happen to Will now? Y'all think he's totally done? Y'all think it's over with?
I think people are gonna after this fever goes down, that people are being excited about the slap heard around the world. I think they're really gonna look at Will as a fucking emotional clown, bro. Because last night, that's what that was. A man said a joke about your wife. How many years have you been in the business, Will? And you know how this shit goes. You've been a part of a roast. You've been making, you know, money off of being a comedian and being funny. And now all of a sudden, after all these years, you get mad and you go on stage and slap a dude, bro, nobody's gonna want to do business with you because they're gonna feel like, oh damn, if I come in the morning and it's coffee too hot, this motherfucker may slap me.
I think his career is it's gonna be it's gonna be a quick, slow demise. Just like you saw MTM
too, man, because Will has an amazing legacy.
Exactly. So this is
now it's tarnished.
Yeah, now it's tarnished. So you gotta think about, like I said, we got the board members that really run the show, the Jeff Bezos of the world, right? They know the marketability now with Will Smith is done. Right? So now moving forward, anything that has to do with Will Smith, as it has to be recreated, or they just postpone it. Because
let me put this out there real quick though, James. I'm gonna let you respond and I'm gonna go to Nurse Roxy. Robert Downey Jr. was a crackhead. Charlie Sheen, I believe, if he wanted to today, could come back. Y'all really think it's over for Will?
Yes.
Because it's different for niggas.
It's different for them, brother.
I mean, let's be real.
Completely.
Yeah. I was gonna say, yeah. What?
I don't think it's over. I think he's gonna let this die down, and people gonna forget like they always do.
No.
And no. I think he's gonna come back. But go ahead, James, and I'm gonna get to Nurse Roxy.
This is why I disagree with you, because it's at the Oscars. That's why it's not going to be forgetting.
Exactly.
So if it was the BET Awards, it probably would have been something different.
Yes, when you talk about, again, a super elite white establishment that has the machine behind them, we got people from all around the world, the super wealthy. You got to think about it. There were people who we've never seen that sit on these boardrooms that looked at Will Smith like, nope. They already have biases. They're like, oh, this nigga, oh, nope. Because we all we see is the actors and actors. We don't see the heavy money, whether it's a Republican or whatever, these super establishment who are looking at this like, what has he lost his mind? And then I'm gonna say this. We don't know for the fact that Chris Rock might be affiliated with one of these high powerful men that are cool with Chris, and they'll be like, nah, you ain't gonna smack my man like that. Because Chris get along with everybody, just like we'll get along with everybody.
Nurse Roxy, go ahead, ma'am. How you doing this morning?
How you doing? Hey, hello, everyone on the panel.
Hey,
Nurse Roxy, I was actually gonna text you this last night, but I said, nah, let me not disrespect that man's household because it was way.
Nah, you good? You good?
Glad you pulled up.
You could have tried me.
Yeah, I ain't trying to have nobody run up on me like Chris Rock. No. Go ahead. What you think about all this?
So I feel like there's a lot of things to consider, and I apologize if anything I'm going to mention was already mentioned. Mm-hmm. But like one thing to consider is like 6 years ago, that whole Oscar so white thing. Did you guys talk about that already?
Yep.
Yeah. They mentioned it. But
right.
Go ahead.
Right. So like the Oscar so white thing, I think it left Will kind of, Will and Jada kind of like embarrassed because remember, Chris really went for it. And to be honest with you, I'm not necessarily a Will Smith or Jada fan. I think that whole, red table talk thing is just trash to me. But I think what happened is, and this is even sometimes, I guess this is a horrible correlation, but this kind of almost reminds me of like recently when Tory Lanez put out some petition. I feel like sometimes when you're trying to rally the troops and it's like something happened to you, which Chris Rock was saying 6 years ago, it was pretty much like, well, Jada, you don't have no movies, like that's the reason why you're really feeling some type of way about this Oscar so white thing. And I think that for some people, when it's your industry and you already feel like an outsider, like from our standpoint, we look at them like, oh, they're celebrities, they got the bag, they got this. But, being Black in that world, you probably feel like just about any little thing that they can say or do, the powers that be, probably have you feeling like in your feelings. So, he was like that when Chris Rock did that. I think it was very humiliating to Jada. And I don't know what it feels like to be. And I just know, like, as a nurse, if I felt like I was being blackballed, or if I felt like there was being like a word passed around me from one place to the next, like, don't hire her, it would make me feel some type of way. And I just don't know how she felt from that 6 years ago when she was trying to do it. I know a lot of people, not in the mainstream, but kind of thought that Chris Rock was kind of cooning when he did that whole little stand up, because it was the larger conversation that, other Black celebrities were trying to have around the Oscar so white thing. And he kind of crushed it by saying pretty much 6 years ago, there's bigger things for us to worry about. So that's essentially what he got to. Is that kind of true? Yeah, it's kind of true. But then at the same time, you can kind of understand why they want to speak up. If I had a kid working in Hollywood, I would want somebody like Will or Jada to be speaking up about Oscar so white. But that's that. On the flip side, I think that, it comes with the territory. That was as funny as it would be, that was initially Jada's response to Chris Rock 6 years ago when TMZ ran up on her and was like, how do you feel about what Chris Rock said? She was like, well, it comes with the territory. And so to me, I kind of feel like it comes with the territory. You're sitting front row, he's going to go ahead and make his little statements, whatever. That's just the whole hilarious part of it, that you're there caught off guard being the butt of a joke. But my last statement about that is I still feel sorry for them, because I feel like the whole alopecia piece and saying things that I feel like, tell me the white person, and anybody can tell me because I just don't know. Tell me the white person that you think Chris Rock would have went there with the person having a medical condition, and we're going to make a joke about it. I just haven't seen it. You know what I mean? I haven't seen it. Yeah, he can run little jokes, whatever. But when a person is losing their hair, and she already came out public about it, oh, whatever, I have alopecia. And a lot of women who suffer from that condition, they kind of just deal with it in silence. You hope that you with somebody who don't care about it. But it's something that a lot of women are very insecure about. You sit up there and make a joke about G.I. Jane, which was like, it was like it was like taking something that is like a medical condition and turning it into a whole joke. So on my last promise, my last statement is I think he's gonna recover. I think he's gonna recover. And I'm gonna tell you why I think he's gonna recover. She's gonna wind up being the face of alopecia. This lady, Jada, and him standing up for her is about to co-sign that. It's just gonna be like how what's her name? Alicia Keys walking around now without no makeup. She's been doing this for a couple of years now. I know people haven't noticed that, but she's been on a campaign of just not wearing makeup and just being natural beauty. She's going to wind up being the face of alopecia. Will Smith's response is going to be the response of supporting not only your wife with alopecia, but your wife who was out there hoeing and playing you, because he about to turn into a super simp. You know what I mean? And he's going to turn the whole Me Too movement is about to have a male mascot. Watch it.
Simp Emperor.
Yeah, he's gonna be a soup simper, and he's gonna have a whole Me Too parade. They're gonna be backing him up heavy. Remember, he already did the 6 degrees of separation thing and kiss dudes and all that stuff. So he already got the Me Too people really kind of low key waiting to support him. He's about to get that support. He about to get that man standing up for your woman, no matter what she do, support. He about to get that. He about to get it.
And Red Table Talk is about to blow up. She's gonna give it about a week. She'll give it about a week, and then she'll give it about 6 months, and then she'll invite Chris Rock over to the house to have the conversation.
She probably gonna do that shit for real, and she probably gonna grill the shit out of him. Well, Chris.
Here's Will now. Come here, baby. Come on, baby.
Oh my God.
Come here, Will.
All right, let me get Baba T, nurse practitioner, in here. What's going on, Baba T?
Good morning, guys. How y'all doing?
What's up?
Yeah, first of all, when I saw this story, I thought it was like a setup or something. I'm like, man, this guy, they probably just, playing around. I didn't see the other part when it was yelling from the seat. I just saw the one on the stage. I was thinking, oh, maybe they're just playing around. But when he started yelling, at some point, can these two just go away? I mean, at some point, man. And, just it's a little bit complicated, but let me just attack it from this end. This is the highest level in your career, right? This is the biggest moment for you. And once again, your wife found a way to make it about herself once again. Anything he's trying to do, she's going to find a way to put herself in there.
Jesus.
I'm telling you, I mean, you can stand up for your woman all you want, but at the end of the day, it's not going to end well for Will Smith. Give you 5, 10 years. I'm telling you, you cannot love this much. This is kind of like an obsession. It's not even love no more. This ain't love.
Okay, well, let me give y'all a scenario, right? Y'all are PRs hired for Will Smith. I'm gonna go ask each one of y'all this individually. How would y'all fix this situation and get Will Smith back to being on top once again? I'm gonna start with Danny. I'm gonna go around. What do you think they should do? And if you was in a position, how would you fix it?
I would just sit down for a while, hopefully the show that he got do well and get renewed. I would try to just become a great producer, and let it blow over. Wait a while, then come back with another big movie. But I think just showing your face for a second might be a bit much. Just be behind the scenes for a hot second.
Okay. Mr. Best in the World. I'm Will Smith. I'm coming to you. Look, Mr. Best in the World, nigga, I fucked up last night. You know what I'm saying? I was in my feelings. I had to go smack a nigga to go prove a point. I realized I was wrong. I'm hiring you as my PR. I got to get back on top. How we handling this?
I mean, there is no way to handle it as long as he stay with her. You know what I mean, he just needs to leave that situation, period, man. I mean, she done showed you she's not for you. Like, there's nothing that he can really do, because anything that he does, she's gonna put a stain on it, man. She's gonna put a stain on it. Like, it's like the brother says, it's only gonna go downhill. I mean, he could make some little statements and little PR moves or whatever. That's just gonna naturally happen. We already know that. We've seen this back and forth over and over again, where they do something crazy and they make all these statements and they apologize or whatever. But at the end of the day, nothing that he does in his career will help as long as he stay with that woman. She is that woman that they talk about in the word that's just, I mean, she's just poison, man. And nothing good will come from her. Nothing good will come from her. I see it over and over again. When you with a woman like that, you know what I mean, she's a detriment to you, bro. There's nothing you can do, man. There's nothing you can do. You can't turn shit into sugar. And that's what he's trying to do.
James, listen, man, you saw me smack that nigga Chris Rock last night. I need you to help me get back on top. I'm hiring you as my PR guy. How do we handle this?
Number one, I would actually pull Jada and Will together, have a real sit down consultation, and say, what is the end result between you two? Because obviously the world knows you guys are functioning as not a coherent group, and it's to the point where it's detriment in the bag. So we need to figure this out ASAP, right? Like a whole cleanup image, and secondly, I would actually see whatever contracts and negotiations, because at this point, no one's gonna hire Jada. No one's hiring Jada at this point. She's put herself in a spell where individuals are just gonna fall back. And you know what I'm saying? So my goal would be let's focus on Will, try to keep this family dynamic, and then have a separate agreement behind closed doors.
What if Jada has some pimp bones in her body about it and flipped this and did a G.I. Jane 2 movie?
Well, that's the thing. Well, that's the thing about it. Where
who's gonna turn her down now?
I didn't know why she reacted. Why Will reacted that way or that body language? Because again, we know G.I. Jane was a very good movie, right? So at the end of the day, yes, if you could have been like, all right, let me be the face of that. See, this is where you understand I think we understand when we're using logic and how to keep that bag coming versus being detrimental and being emotional. You know what I'm saying? And this is what happened with Will. You got a woman when you know what I mean? You don't have any discernment at all.
I think it's a bad look because we want to root for Will, but at the same time, we tired of hearing this shit. At the end of the day, but let me get back to Nurse Baba T. Baba T, you are now my PR person. I'm Will Smith. I need some help. You saw me do what I did. How do we get back on top?
Okay, sure. We need to clarify something within the two, because if you look at the video again, I'm going to ask him a question. Will Smith, when Chris made that joke, initially you were laughing. If you look at the video, he was laughing at the joke initially, right? Mm-hmm. Then he turned to his wife and he saw the wife was not laughing. Then he stood up. Now, as a PR, I would say, let it lay low. But here's the problem. his wife is gonna fuck it up because guess what? The next red talk table shit, she's gonna bring that whole shit up again. Guess who's looking bad again? Will Smith. Because if for this shit to work, they have to both lay low. But guess what? There's no way the wife is letting this shit go. She's gonna blow this shit up on the next red table talk. You see what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, do you see how the husband is looking out for the wife, but the wife don't give a shit about him? She ain't gonna give a shit. Like, oh my God, I just got my topic for the next 1 year. I'm gonna ride this shit out, talking about a sim defending me in public. Why? Like, no, who asked you to stand up to go do that shit? Nobody asked you. You were laughing at the shit, right? He was laughing at the joke, right? The only time he stood up was because the wife didn't laugh at the joke. But the question is, as a PR man, I'm gonna ask you, can you stand up for your man the same way he stood up for you? And there's no way she's doing that shit.
Okay. Nurse Roxy, then I'm gonna get to Japrice. You the PR person, he hires you as his PR. How do we fix this situation?
Oh, I'm gonna tell y'all something. So y'all don't understand how powerful women can be. Women are very divided on this subject. I'm telling you, because a man standing up for his wife, a man saying that keep my wife's name out your mouth. It's a very like looking over your shoulder, like, would you do that for me? This is not going to be hard at all. This is a no-brainer. I'm telling you, she's going to do the alopecia.
Jada might have to start slapping some hoes because Will's coochie rate just went up a little bit.
Oh yeah. Oh, you think it did?
That's what I feel like.
You think it didn't? Oh, yeah. Let me tell you something. However men really feel about this, they just need to keep it to themselves and talk about it quietly. Men should not be talking out loud about how they really feel about this whole thing with Will, because Will's coochie, the coochie rater is on 20.
On 20 right now.
It's on 20. All she got to do is talk her alopecia talk. See, the major news networks have already been kind of covering her alopecia thing because she talked about on Red Table Talk. Entertainment Tonight a couple of months ago did a story on it, and she was talking about it. So now you got all these women like, well, I'm free to be me. Well, mind you, this is a woman who just came out there talking about how she was laying it up with August Alsina. She a sex addict, blah, blah, blah. And you got a man saying, wait, we got to understand slut culture and the slut walking and all that slut shaming. This is a real thing. Okay. And then on top of it, alopecia. And he out here saying, that's my wife, I'm standing by her. The only people I think you're going to see have women who say kind of like, oh, that's much or whatever, are probably single, bitter women. If you with a man and you with him, he's claiming you getting this is your dude that's with you all the time. If he feels like Will did something wrong, he should really keep that to himself. But I'm telling you, oh, this is not going to be hard. It's going to be alopecia. I told you Entertainment Tonight a couple months ago already did the story on her alopecia. That's how it went mainstream. They covered the story. So she about to be the face of alopecia. Alopecia people are probably going to start whatever medication or self-care, blah, blah, whatever. She about to be the spokesperson for him. And then Will's going to be right there standing by his wife.
But Roxy, how does Will look in the whole situation? Because the wife is gonna win, but it's gonna look bad. That's my point. Will is just gonna lose. It's a lose shit. It ain't winning this shit.
See, I think you look at Will different than I do. So to me, Will and Jada have an open relationship, and Jada and Will Smith has been with some of the most beautiful women in the time that he's been with Jada. I mean, when I say gorgeous women, Will get puss thrown at him all the time. There was a young girl that blew up on huge. Her people's connected, but she blew up on YouTube. She interviewed Obama, I think, like shortly after him being in office, whatever, or shortly after him leaving, something like that, whatever. Young girl too, real young girl. Will was on a whole trip with her. Will was doing some type of like coast to coast thing with her. Was on a boat with her for.
You talking about the white girl, Margot Robbie?
That's her name. I think that's her name. Yeah, I think that's her name. Yeah,
Oh.
Will is not short of cooch. Will been bagging baddies.
Yeah.
This whole thing with him and Jada is just like whatever. I think Will's starting to kind of lose his screws a little bit because he's not realizing like you got to keep them worlds separated. Like I think that's the part of it that we're seeing that looks weird. Like you really like, dude, like what are y'all really doing? But I think for most people, they know that Will and Jada have an odd relationship and that they definitely in an open relationship. Yeah, y'all should really like just Google Will in Paris, like little stories about Will be with baddies, like not Jada, baddies. So yeah, the cooch thing is up there. He come on, listen, I'm about to say to you is tuck your girl, fam. Who said tuck your girl, fam? If was that PD Crack? Who said that? Or was it Chris and Neef?
I think it was Chris and Neef. Japrice, what's going on, Japrice? I've been seeing you in the comments. Go ahead.
Hi.
What's going on? How you doing?
Good morning. Good. How about yourself?
Good. Now I'm assuming you saw it last night. The whole
I
world
saw it. I saw the video. Yeah.
Chris Rock made a joke.
Mm-hmm.
Will Smith laughed. We saw Jada's face, and Will Smith proceeded to get up and slap the shit out of Chris Rock. Now, what are your thoughts on this, ma'am?
All I saw was a husband protecting his wife, regardless of what we all allegedly think about their relationship. We're not in their marriage, whatever the case may be. We only know what they put out, and a part of being a celebrity is they put out stuff for us to react to, and whatever. That's not neither the case here or there. All I saw was a husband protecting his wife. That's his obligation, regardless of what Jada did, whatever the case may be. I'm trying to see how we're all so confused about that.
Well, I think, like Nurse Roxy said, men and women are having a difficult time looking at it the same way. Men are looking at this as you have a man who's been squeaky clean for the better part of 30 years, who has not had any trouble. Now you have a woman who is being perceived as being reckless. She has embarrassed him to the public. And a lot of men are having a hard time understanding why would a man like Will Smith continue to be embarrassed by this woman. And now they're looking at him like, well, he said a joke. So what? You've been embarrassed for the last 3 years. Women, in my opinion, are looking at this like, well, he's just another man protecting his wife. Now, would you, if it was your husband, would you have been okay with him going up there and slapping Will Smith, even though the bag may be in danger? What do you think about that?
Like I said before, it's a husband's obligation to protect his wife. How could he just sit there and let Jada be hurt? Whatever it is that we think, he went up there to slap him, whatever the case may be, because of how he felt that he hurt Jada's feelings, or however her condition. I didn't know she had a condition. I just thought she was just shaving her head off. But yeah, I mean, I'm quite sure my husband would do the same thing.
But because when you do stuff like that, when you're making an emotional decision like that, there's other things you have to be considered. Chris Rock could press charges on him. It could be an assault case. His whole career could have been messed up off that one moment. Do I think it'll be messed up? No, but it could have. I would think that because I've been in a situation to where my girl wasn't disrespected, but my girl has stopped me from putting hands on this one guy because he was drunk, he was irritating me, and on top of that, he was clearly LBGT. I didn't care about the fact that he was LBGT. It was just that he was annoying the fuck out of me, and I was about to go put hands on him. Now, she grabbed me and she said, "Don't do it. You gonna mess up everything that you've worked for." Now, that was an emotional moment, but she was there. She was there because.
What do you keep calling an emotional moment? Like as if you don't have emotions, as if it's not okay for you to get how you feel. It's okay.
Because it was an emotional moment. Because
it's not a bad thing. You're saying it as if it's a bad thing.
It's a bad thing because I could have lost everything I worked for. If I would have put hands on him, I could have potentially went to jail. I couldn't have been a nurse. I could have lost everything I worked for.
But CJ, you have to understand that that's what a woman wants.
What?
A woman does not want to feel like a man is going to put his career or anything before her.
No, that's not it. I think
Well, at least for me, I'll speak for myself then. I would, if my husband started explaining to me that the car come before me, that the job come before me, that the kids come before me, he can't explain to me what comes before me.
Right.
Because I can't explain anything that comes before him. If I start telling him things that come before him, shit, I could be talking about the biggest bag in the world. He gonna say, "Well, I bet you lose that job tomorrow." I'm walking out the door.
I think that like we also cannot compare Will Smith, these celebrities, one percenters, to the normal situation. I do understand what you said, CJ, about how you didn't react because of the outcome of what could have happened. But sometimes, I mean, I don't know. All I saw was a husband protecting his wife, regardless of what Jada, allegedly did or whatever the case may be. We don't know what if Will Smith. I know from what I know, from what I heard or allegedly about them, that they have an open relationship. So, regardless, I saw a husband protecting his wife. I don't think that. Would you say the bag, CJ, was an issue? Because come on, they have.
Like I said, I don't think Will. Yeah, I don't think anything really is going to happen to Will. In my personal opinion, I think people are going to forget like they forget everything else.
Yeah,
but,
family, may I say this, family, real quick?
Go ahead.
Because I do have to roll out. But I'm gonna say this. I think in your situation you was talking about with yourself, and you're not overreacting. You did a great thing, and your woman actually protected you in that situation.
Yeah, she did. 100%.
And that's the key. And that's the key in relationships. Men and women both have to protect each other. This idea that the man has to be Rambo in every situation is complete bullshit. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, if you would have messed that up and y'all would have been in Top Ramen a month later, shit would be different. You know what I'm saying? Because you would have fucked up your whole thing. And your woman protected you from not doing that. She's a great woman for protecting you for that. Shout out to her. Shout out to your woman, man. And last but not least, you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, there's no alleged about it. Like, this woman has admitted that she was knocking down this younger dude. She's admitted it more than once. And the thing is, once you admit something like that, you know what I mean? She don't respect him. She's not protecting his legacy. She's not protecting his name. She don't give a shit about his name. You know what I mean? When a woman marries you, she takes on your name. She takes on your legacy. And she completely disrespected that. She don't care nothing about that. All she cares about is herself, and she's selfish. And that's the problem with most of these Western culture women. Most of them, a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them are just selfish, man. They don't think about anything but themselves at all. She not thinking about nothing but her, and it shows in all her actions. All her actions are selfish and self-motivated, from that red table talk to everything else. She's a D-list actress. Nobody gives a shit about nothing that she's ever made. She never win no awards. The only thing I ever cared about that she was ever on was A Different World. That's about it.
Set It Off was kind of dope. I like Set It Off.
Was dope, but it was more dope because Queen Latifah. Let's be honest. Queen Latifah made that movie. Let's be honest. But yeah.
So if Jada didn't,
I got a question for the ladies.
So if Jada didn't publicly embarrass him, would it then be okay for him to protect her? Because it seems like it's kind of like revenge. Like, I hear a lot of it's like the Black community have something about revenge. Like, why is it he's still?
I don't know if it was so much revenge, but I do agree with you. Yeah, you're right. I agree. I think more men will understand.
He still has an obligation to protect his wife.
Yeah. I think more men will understand.
Yeah, more men will protect him though. At all.
Yeah. I think more men will understand why Will did that, and they will be more so. Okay, I get it because, like I said, for example, had LeBron did that, and LeBron James's wife had got disrespected, because you don't hear nothing from LeBron James's wife. You don't hear nothing, and Chris Rock made a joke about her. Every man in America would have understood that. They may not have agreed with it, but they would have understood that, because his wife ain't out here putting her all their business out there. You don't even know what LeBron James' wife sound like. You don't even know what she sound like. So yeah, in that aspect, Japrice, I see where you coming from, because a lot of men are really having a hard time defending a woman who has said publicly this nigga was blowing my back out. He made me feel good. Another man, even though, regardless if they in a different relationship, or open relationship, it's a pride thing for us. It's different. So yeah, at that aspect, maybe a lot of people do see it as revenge. But again, if this was LeBron's wife, and I'm just using him as an example because LeBron's wife, she don't say nothing about nobody. You barely see her. She stand behind her man, all that stuff. If it was LeBron's wife, most men probably would have understood 100%. 100%. Oh, okay, yeah. Chris Rock, you kind of had that one coming. But go ahead, James. You was about to ask a question?
Well, my question was to Japrice. When is it time for a woman to protect a man? Because we always talk about it's a man's obligation, but as a woman, especially a wife, there are some civil duties you have to protect your man. And we've seen this amongst that relationship. Jada has not been the one to protect him, especially on the biggest scales. As we mentioned as men, it's not even about that that what Will found offensive or not. The issue comes down to is we see it over and over again. This woman displays a total different lifestyle. They don't even coexist. And that's the issue a lot of brothers are having, because you can't be on that level. Market that we love each other, and then you still have an affiliation with another party and make it public, and then feel it's acceptable, and then return expect a man to protect you. That's why most men most men low-key don't respect Will Smith for that behavior.
But James, can I say something?
Go ahead.
Wait, let me let Japrice respond real quick. Then go ahead, Miss Roxy. Japrice, you want to respond to that? Maybe our mic.
Okay, so he asked, when is it? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you. When does
he?
Yeah, we can hear you. I can hear you.
So the question is, when is it obligation for a woman to protect the man? I mean, yeah, it's two ways. You protect him, like, I wouldn't say physically, but you protect him by, like, not putting him in situations to where he could possibly get hurt or whatever the case may be. So I mean, like, I understand what you're saying. I totally understand what you're saying.
All right, go ahead, Nurse Roxy. What you about to say?
Well, I think part of when Jay, that whole Oscar so white, a part of it was her actually speaking up because of Will not getting any recognition for his work. At least I think that initially when she said that back 6 years ago, because I'm old enough to remember that. I remember just blowing it off like, oh, here she goes. She just acting like that just because of Will. Like, I wonder why she didn't have that energy when other people aren't, being recognized for their work. She's only doing that because of Will. So when she said that back then, that was her standing up because she was making noise about Will not get recognition for his work. But again, we don't know the in and out, the details of their marriage. We don't know. Most people don't even know that when Will is out there saying, just like when Jay-Z said, I cheated on Beyonce, and people are like, when did Jay-Z cheat on Beyonce? How could he cheat on Beyonce? You think Jay-Z ain't getting prime pushed on his way? Of course he cheat on Beyonce. And what tells you that he ain't cheating on Beyonce right now because she made a Lemonade album? Like, what are we talking about? Like, we're talking about men with power and influence. Will is not beating his dick. It's all crying at night. What I'm gonna do? Because Jada's sleeping with August. Will is sleeping just fine at one of his mansions, and I don't think, quite honestly, that Will is as worried about the bag as we are. As Japrice pointed out, I don't think he's that worried about the bag, and I think that he, quite frankly, may have his money tied up in investments to where the money is working for him. Going out and beating himself up and doing another movie or whatever. He just wrote a book. Like, I don't think that Will is like, I think Will is setting himself up to retire early, so to speak. You know what I mean? He's not a young man, but I think I don't think he's out here chasing the bag. I don't think he's gonna be 70 out here trying to be another superhero.
Well, I disagree with you on the fact that on this note, this is not about money, and this is because obviously they're in a different atmosphere financially, right?
Right.
I think the real issue comes down to is what should the public know and what the public should not know. And that's the thing that Hollywood, if you look at it from, if I was a PR person, I was representing both of them, there's certain things, I don't care what happens, you do not let this information leak. Because again, we're talking about advertisers. You know what I'm saying? There's bigger bags, persons that are being signed that are looking at you. So you can do this, X, Y, Z. And yeah, he may not want, yeah, he's trying to set himself to retire early. But you never know. Somebody may say, hey, can you do this commercial later down the line? It's not, you know, it's all about the future, because again, we know Will Smith as the cool guy, funny, great comedian. You know what I'm saying? He's just the all-around dude. Like, no one knows him for smacking Chris Rock. Nobody wants to see that.
It's about legacy.
It's about the legacy, because at the end of the day, regardless of what happens in your private life, just because they have an open relationship, that doesn't mean Jada should be having table talk.
I agree. I 100% agree.
That's not acceptable. And this is the thing about Hollywood. Hollywood operates on an accord where they say, if you want to get to this next level, you got to be married. You got to have family out photos. You got to do this. You got to do that, right? They know what they signed up for. But then when you have this divergence, like a woman like Jada, then, you know, the PR person's like, yo, I thought you said you agreed to this. This is getting a little out of control, to the point where you seen a grown man just get emotional, as we said earlier. He was laughing. Nothing bothered him. As soon as he looked at his wife, he gonna snap this button and go up there and smack a grown man.
Now, do you think that he was laughing? Because I do that myself, and I'm not trying to defend him because he's from West Philadelphia and I was born in Philly. But I'm just asking a question. I'm just asking for a friend. Do you believe that that was more of a kind of like on cue? Because, you know, celebrities know to laugh on cue. Was that an on cue kind of laugh that he really didn't think what was said was funny? It was one of those kind of, boy, you wildin'. Yeah, but you're about to eat this fist. Or do you think that you think he was getting G-checked by Jada?
Yeah.
No, I honestly believe.
I honestly believe the wife. Then that's when he reacted.
I'm just trying to. Y'all keep on saying that he was okay with it until he looked at his wife, and since his wife had a problem, he had a problem.
Yes.
Why are y'all saying that like that's a problem? Like, when you're married, that is what it is.
Right.
If something is happening and I'm okay with something, but my husband have a problem, I have a problem.
So let me speak on it. Before, you know, I'll say this. The issue wasn't that he laughed and then he looked at her and, you know, obviously he saw his wife and she was, you know what I'm saying, disappointed or whatever. It's the reaction after that. Because at the end of the day, you're on the biggest platform that could ever be. And then there's no circumstance do you go on stage and slap a man over a joke.
Okay, well then I need everybody to refrain from bringing this woman's name up about his reaction. The problem is his reaction, not his wife. Then he been on this stage, he know his role, and his role is also husband. I personally don't feel like, you know, as a husband, like Japrice and Roxy is saying, I'm on the side of the women where I definitely wouldn't mind him getting up to smack a person for pissing me off. Now, the whole thing is, I do hear what y'all saying for the woman to protect the man, but we are talking about Will Smith. Who in this world, we're going to include Jada because she's in this world, who actually thought he was getting up to go do that for her to have to stop him?
Well, Ms. Keeper, let's be honest here. If we're in that same, me and you are married, and we're in that financial bracket, I don't think you would even let me jeopardize that scenario.
Who thought that he was getting up to jeopardize anything?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I said this earlier. We're talking about a 51-year-old man that's heard more harsh things in the era of Def Comedy Jam, Martin, Bernie Mac, and you're gonna get upset over a G.I. Jane joke?
He didn't get upset over a joke. He got upset because his wife was upset.
Exactly, but you just said that was there. You just do the opposite of what you just said. Like,
so you're basically saying,
I understand. What
because the wife was upset, it still gives him the demeanor to go up there and behave the way he behaved. And mind you, let's be honest here. Will's personality is totally different from Jada's personality. Will is a much outgoing individual. Will is out there enjoying the best life. He's trying to make the best of his life. There's certain things that Will, it's like anything else. Once you're exposed to certain things and you get accustomed to certain things, you rub things off. Versus Jada, because she hasn't had the attention, she's not exposed as well as Jada, she's gonna take certain things personal.
You think as his wife she haven't had the exposure? She's standing right next to him. She gets talked
No,
about just
it's not even about the exposure. I think it's more so like the fact that she's an individual who she seeks more attention than she deserves.
I think Shine Fluid had the best reasoning for a lot of men are feeling the way they feel, because the reaction looks weak because his wife humiliates him on a regular basis, as I just said.
But he got to be the one to feel humiliated. Don't he got to feel humiliated though?
Well, it's all about perception, though. I'm saying that's why I believe a lot of men are feeling the way they are feeling, because like Shine Fluid said, the reaction looks weak because his wife humiliates him. If this was, like I said, a LeBron James's wife who doesn't humiliate him, who supports him from the sidelines, I don't think men would more so have a problem with this. But because men have seen Jada humiliate Will publicly over and over and over again, a lot of men are having a hard time being like, well, why would you do this for a woman who constantly humiliates you? Forgetting the fact that at the end of the day, that still is his wife. Whether men like it or not, that's his wife. And if he's choosing to stay married to this woman and to be tied up to this woman, well, it's not about how you feel.
But CJ, I don't think he has an option. That is the mother of his children. And on top of it, I want to also reiterate something here. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, I know I said it before, and I know we all agree on this, but I'm just going to say it. We don't understand the details of that marriage. If Will is out there living his best life and he's on the red carpet with her and doing shows with her and she's on Red Table Talk and whatever, I'm like, he's probably like, okay, that's how she want to go get her back, because I'm over here doing this. I mean, Will and Jada are known for going on TV, telling people that they make themselves happy. Then they get together and make each other happy. I don't know what you want to take that comment to mean, whatever, but I took it for what it was worth. Okay, y'all know how to take care of yourselves, and we all get together. Y'all know how to show face, keep up with appearances or whatever. But I will say this. I think that we have to be very careful not understanding or failing to understand why a man would protect his wife, because I think it speaks also to a failure of men, and specifically Black men as it relates in this situation, their failure to stand up for women. And I'm saying that, I want to be careful when I say, because I'm not saying, oh, just whatever a woman do, just back there co-signing it. But I think that we do have a larger problem where the strong and independent woman also gives rise to men who say, well, you got it. If I got to do it, you got it. So it's like, we have to, at some point in time, we have to be able to make a distinction about, when do we want to stop the cycle? Because the last thing you want to do is see somebody like Will, that you got a bunch of grown men saying, yeah, if a woman acting like that, you ain't got to protect her, you ain't got to protect her. It just creates a cycle, because then you're just going to produce women who act like Jada, with men responding just like that. It's the same thing with the women's sphere and the manosphere. The manosphere would be nothing without Pink Pill. Pink Pill would be nothing without the manosphere.
But let me tell you something though, and that's the thing, because since we don't know the ins and outs of their relationship, if somebody from the outside looking in, if a young man from the outside looking in is saying, if seeing Jada Pinkett Smith disrespect her husband, talking about having these entanglements, talking about he made me feel so good, then he's gonna think that, well, why would I want to protect that? Because clearly it's sounding like she don't want to be protected. Not by him.
But CJ, when Will is out here with that home, whatever that girl, you knew the young lady's name, when he's there running around with her, what message does that send any young man that he's running around with that young lady?
But Roxy, when he's doing this thing, he's not on Facebook talking about it. That's right. What I'm saying.
No, he wasn't on Facebook talking about it. He had millions of her followers following him on YouTube. See, the thing about it is, one of the things we have to be honest with, just like it was said already, Will does not have the reputation Jada has. Jada kind of has a little hood rat reputation. She's been typecast as a hood rat. That's just her thing. Will doesn't have that. So when Will's out here with models running around in Paris or running around in boats with little girls and stuff, we're not, let me be careful. She wasn't a little girl. It's a grown woman, but you know, she's young.
Right.
You know, we're not looking at Will in that way. We're looking at Will like, well, you know, Will's Mr. Goody Two Shoes. Okay, he's a human being. So if he can get a woman 24 years old who will give up dating her, that girl dropped her man. Y'all should follow her story on YouTube.
But that's the thing. This girl, whoever you're talking about, the person you're talking about, the woman, nobody knows her like that. Not to the point to where people are making panic.
No, and why?
The thing we know is that Will Smith does not talk about what happens behind closed doors. Jada does. Now, I'm sure some things that Will Smith could say that could potentially be embarrassing to Jada, but guess what? He don't say it, and that's the problem I think a lot of men are having. I don't care. I don't think most men even care about them being in an open relationship. Who cares? But the fact is, you're going on television talking about how unhappy you were, and this is saying to the man who works hard to provide for a family, to build a legacy, no matter what, you are still unsatisfied. And you are so unsatisfied that you will talk about it publicly on a public platform. That discussion should have been held in private. Now, again, I will say August Alsina was doing too much. Maybe they didn't put him on an NDA or anything like that. But somebody just said Will understands the importance of his brand. Jada does not have a brand. Jada's brand is Red Table Talk. Jada's brand is exposing everything that should not be exposed. So that is the problem that I'm not saying Will was wrong for defending his wife, because let me tell you something. I'm not going to tell another man how they need to defend their wife. That's their wife. And what works in a household works in a household. But I can understand it from both sides, though. And I don't think this has anything to do with the black population as a whole, about black women not being protected and everything like that, because I feel that black women are protected. It's just black men are going to choose who they protect. This is a message now. You want me to protect a woman that's putting out my business like that? That's how people are looking at it, regardless of whether he's right or wrong. This is still his wife. Still his wife. So he should protect her if he wants to. But that's saying like, no, I'm cool. If I'm going to protect somebody, I'm going to protect somebody who's not going to endanger my brand, somebody who's not putting my business out there. And, you know, that's where I think the disconnect is, in my opinion.
And I want to ask you a question. Do you believe that when Chris Rock was up there talking, that it was about his brand being damaged?
No.
Or do you think it was solely about Jada?
I don't think Chris Rock honestly meant any harm by it. I don't know if he knew she had alopecia, because I didn't know until yesterday. But I don't follow them like that. And I'm not cool with I'm not in that world. But I personally don't think he meant any harm by it. But I think Will just had an emotional moment.
But no, the reason I'm asking that question is this, right? So let me just say this to you without getting even deep about that piece. Mm-hmm. So just think about alopecia for what it is. For the most part, you're talking about a woman who's walking around hiding what's going on under her head, right? She's hiding it. Okay. So now she says, all right, I'm going to step out here and I'm going to just be confident about it. Whatever. I got alopecia.
Right.
A man is up there on the stage making that comment about her. Now, that wasn't just about alopecia. He was also making fun of the fact that she has a failing career. Because when he said the thing about G.I. Jane, that was also a kind of a jab, like, yeah, you ain't never going to be in no films again. Like, we ain't never going to see you do nothing. So it was a 2-for-1. It was you have a failing career, and here you was sitting up there looking like you about to go on G.I. Jane. Now, I'm not saying that a man is supposed to defend all kinds of stuff. But if my man is going to let a man haggle me, he's going to be up there tearing me down about my hair, my alopecia, yeah, it's going to be a problem. And if you don't get up and say something, then I'm going to use the rest of my time with you to remind you all the time that you're a bitch made. I'm going to remind you all the time that you're a bitch made. Look how that nigga talked to me, and look, you did nothing about it. You're a bitch made. See, that's the thing you got to be careful with, because a woman is not going to interpret a man not standing up for a woman as, well, there's reasons for that. No, a woman just looks at that as a very feminine trait, like almost as if you won't protect me. So this is a losing situation for a man to even adopt this mentality. If you want to talk about it at the poker table with your friends, fine, but do not say it to women because it's a turn off.
Well, it
will dry everything up under there. It will dry everything up down there.
Well, let me ask you this then. Let me ask you this. At what point, and I'm not trying to say Will is wrong. Like I said, how he protected his wife is how he protects his wife. But at what point is he going to have the conversation and say, well, Jada, you need to close your fucking mouth and stop putting our business out there because you're making me look bad. He
recently said, I hate to sound like this, but he recently said that.
Yeah. So I just feel like
I had a question.
Sure.
Go ahead.
So I'll get, what's his name? The boy that was what's the boy's name that had the affair
August?
with August, right?
Yeah.
Have you heard the lyrics from that song?
Some of it I heard.
Right?
And then initially the first time I think I heard the whole entire song. Sure.
All right. So now, whether it was NDA or non-NDA, how disrespectful is that to a man to hear?
Yeah.
So don't get me wrong. I said it already to you. I think that Jada does a lot. Don't get it twisted. But when you asked about the disrespect, to answer your question, I'll say this, and this kind of taps on to something Japri said earlier about something else, but it taps kind of on it about that revenge piece. Will has already, and he recently said it, just even a month or so ago, whatever. He was sitting down with Gayle King, Oprah Winfrey's homegirl, and he recently said that the lyrics are up. He recently said that that he's cheated on Jada. So I don't know if he cheated on Jada nice and early in their relationship to where she's just harboring resentment and she don't care how he looked. Because I'm gonna tell you one thing: once you cheat on a woman and she decides to stay with you, you might as well call it quits because she gonna treat you like shit every single day.
I get
especially if she got a failing career.
Okay, Miss Roxy, I understand where you're coming from, but this is where I'm going to point out two things. The situation between them two, they can't protect each other for the simple fact that, one, they've caused so much damage to one another. And you can see it through their personalities. They can't even really coexist. You have one side where people say, yeah, they got an open relationship. Okay, if it's open, but it also has to have NDA clauses as well. You see what I'm saying? Like, you seeing Jada move in a certain way where she's taking pictures with this man. I don't know if that's, you can cheat, but I ain't never heard cheating get that kind of wild. Yes, you see Will Smith with a younger woman, but has that younger woman come out and said, oh, we did this and XYZ? No. It's better to have a perception versus the actual factual idea that is like, oh, we know this
now
is
can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
I'm gonna throw something out there to you. Do you remember that time that Solange was beating up Jay-Z in the elevator?
Yes.
Okay. So speculation was this was related to some type of cheating thing. We don't know nothing about it though. We don't know nothing about it. But as far as the optics on it, do you believe that that was something? And when you seen it, did you think that it was something that's like, oh, what is that about? That's going to tarnish Jay-Z's reputation or Beyonce's reputation or Solange's reputation?
You asking me personally?
I'm just asking your perception of it when you seen it.
No, I thought it was definitely going to damage their situation for the simple fact it was Solange. It wasn't Beyonce. You had a third party who was, again, assaulting you, and at the end he had to refrain himself because I think it doesn't look good. It doesn't, regardless. And this is the thing: like, we have to be honest. When you're in those particular limelights where the cameras are rolling 365, you got paparazzis, anyone that can tarnish you, right? And stuff like that happens. It has huge consequences. Unlike for us, it might not be the same.
Like, speaking to that also, like, if a regular person just walked off the stage yesterday and smacked Chris Rock, they would have been arrested, right? Yeah, just think about it. If somebody just came from back and just slapped him and say, oh, whatever. I'm not saying you should not defend your wife. Let's say I heard that, oh, backstage Will went and just dealt with Chris. I'm like, okay, oh yeah. My issue is the location of where that happened. That shouldn't have happened in front of people. You can handle your situation backstage or later, but not right there.
And the only thing I'll add on to this as well, right? Like this whole concept of because a man doesn't defend you. And so this is the issue I have when I hear sisters and just women in general say he didn't defend me in a particular limelight that you may seem, deemable, right? And then to refer him as a bitch made man. There's certain things men, this is the difference. Men understand the consequences if they react to something overtly in an emotional environment.
Mm-hmm.
There's some things men, this is one thing I always say, once you cross that line, we don't know where it's going to lead, but we know there's an ultimate consequence. Just like you noticed when Will got up there after he smacked, he started crying. And the sad part is Will didn't even apologize to Chris Rock. That was one of the biggest cues people were saying, like, damn, how you going to smack a man on national television and you were emotional? You said
Why would he apologize?
He didn't apologize to Chris, though. He apologized to the Academy.
That's what I'm saying. You gotta. This is what.
Why
this
would
is
he
why.
apologize to Chris?
Because he. Yeah, but again, the Academy appointed Chris. So this is where this is where we might find this different, right? The Academy appointed Chris to host it. They're a reflection of him. There's a reason why they chose Chris out of anyone else. So when they see something that on that magnitude, they're gonna say to themselves, like, okay, you're gonna apologize to us, but he's the one that we sponsored. And you gotta understand, white society doesn't think the same way we think humor is. Humor is. Go ahead.
Let me ask the ladies a question. If you were married to Chris Rock, right, Roxy, Danny, and Caprice, if you were married to Chris Rock and you saw Chris Rock made the joke, and Will came up there and smacked him, and he didn't do anything back to protect himself, would you have thought less of Chris Rock?
Well, I probably would think more so it comes with the territory. Like, you're a comedian, you're running your jokes, and somebody may pull up on you. Comedians get pulled up on all the time.
And that's cool, because I know some
comedians. It wouldn't be cool, but see, I'm
right.
kind of old school in the sense where a person tell me that they're gonna be a comedian. Like, how a lot of these celebrities talk about how their parents was talking them out of going to be a comedian. Like, I'm that person. I'd be that parent. I can't take
Chris
you
Rock
serious.
was your husband, though, and he didn't do anything, and Will's another grown man slapped him, and he didn't respond. Would you also think he's bitch made?
No, honestly, I would be thinking that you're a risk taker. See, I would think that you're a risk taker. It's like if I was married to somebody from the show Jackass. You know what I mean? If you did some stuff and you injured yourself or whatever, I'd be thinking, oh, like, okay, there you go, being a jackass.
So you wouldn't think any less of him after another grown man. You wouldn't dry up or nothing. Because when he tries to check you, the first thing you're going to say is you didn't do that to Will Smith.
But see, the thing is, if we're keeping it in this context, you're talking about if he was just up there hosting a show and he made a comment. Let's say if it wasn't about the touchy subjects around Jada. It was just something more lighthearted. And Will just decided
you got to keep it there, Nurse Roxy, because this is the context.
If I keep it there, then no, you taking the L. And then I'm gonna sit you down and say, if that was me, and if I was Jada, I would expect Will to do that to you. If we kept everything like in the same context, oh yeah, I would tell him, yeah, you shouldn't have said that comment to that young lady.
So okay, cool. So I just want to make sure. So had he not fought, he didn't fight back. So you wouldn't have thought any less of him as a man, right? Because Chris Rock didn't defend himself. He just let him slap him. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I would say if he did slap him, I would say, I said you was being rude and you arrogant. Why would you hurt that guy's feelings when you said it about his See, you have to understand, when y'all heartbroken and y'all can't talk to your boys, y'all can always come to your woman and tell your woman, hey, mama just died, uncle just died, papa just died, this died, I'm out of my luck, and whatever the case is, and I'm gonna sit there and let you cry. I ain't gonna judge you, I ain't gonna disrespect you, I ain't gonna do nothing, because I'm gonna let you cry, because I got a boy. So my son comes to me crying about something, I'm gonna let you cry. Mama gonna let you cry. I'm gonna let you cry. Maybe your girl ain't gonna let you, maybe the girl you try to get with ain't gonna let you cry. Maybe your boys ain't gonna let you cry, but you can come to me and cry. A woman is going to have that space for her man to come to her and be vulnerable that way. He showed a side of him of vulnerability. And I think that again, like I'm saying, women are going to look at that different than men. Men looking at that as a
What
weakness.
about Will Smith then? He defended his wife. Y'all say y'all understand,
Right.
and if he didn't defend his wife, it would have dried him up. Now, what dried y'all up? Now, what if
Yes.
Will Smith handled it a different way and didn't put his hands on him, but handled it another way? Will Will Smith still have been bitch made?
No, that'd have been okay, because that's my whole thing is we keep on blaming this woman for how he reacted, and the whole problem is how he reacted, not where he reacted, not that he reacted, but how he reacted. Like y'all came up with all these other bright ideas that he could have went up there and made him apologize or do this or that and the third. I think that would have been better of him. Like, he should have thought better to have a better reaction to his wife's feelings being hurt. It's not her fault that he don't know a better way to check someone.
Okay, so it was just all about it was in your thoughts, Danny. It was about the action of checking the man. It not so much as hitting the man, but checking him, making him aware that my wife was uncomfortable.
Acknowledge my wife's feelings.
Yeah. Okay. So it's not so much a hitting. So
not at all.
Japrice, the same thing. Japrice, if you was Chris Rock's wife and you saw another grown man slap him and he did not respond, would you still think of Chris Rock as being bitch made? Or not saying that you thought that of him, but do you think that would you have that feeling of him? Would you think of him as less of a man that he did not defend himself?
No. I would ask him, like, why didn't you defend yourself, or what was going through your head, or like, why didn't you say anything? Or, I mean, it seemed like the guy was pretty shook, but like pretty shocked. But I would just ask him, like, why didn't you? I wouldn't think anything less, because I know you win some, you lose some, and there are situations where you can respond and not respond and accept and etc. as a man. So I don't think I would feel anything less of him because he didn't fight back or whatever the case may be.
So, like Nurse Roxy, now you said he did that because of what's going to happen when he gets home. She's going to remind him. You don't think Chris Rock's wife is going to remind him? Oh, I don't know if he's married or not, but if he tries to check her and he said, "Oh, you didn't do that to Will," what you checking?
I mean, sure, but like, see, here's the thing about being a court gesture, and this is why I said use the example about being married to somebody like on the cast of the show Jackass. Once we're show Jackass. If I'm with somebody who's a court gesture, like how Kevin Hart is, Kevin Hart's wife has to deal with the fact that he can put a dress on and a drop of a hat. He can be on the show and he can sit on people's lap. He can kiss The Rock. This is the stuff she has to deal with. Right. So you're talking about, bitch made and stuff like this. These are the things that you have to deal with when your man is a class clown. And unfortunately, we have to be very mindful and careful when black men decide that they want to take on these caricatures and take on those kind of responsibilities and roles, because a part of that respect that could be lost is when someone's asking you to put on a dress. You know what I mean? And you're saying, "Oh, I'm still a man. I'm still supposed to be respected. This is a part of my craft." Because that's what, his response was, Kevin Hart in defense. But, again, I mean, how can you're asking about respect? I would have to remind you every time you'd say something to me. I'm like, you kissed The Rock. You had a dress on. You had lipstick on. You on Saturday Night on SNL with a dress on. You keep doing shows. Like, he was in a movie with Will Ferrell where he's braiding Will Ferrell's hair. And I mean, like, you're asking about that as if there's a, when you go into that industry and you're, again, being a court gesture, the respecting is not going to always be there, especially if you're just doing dumb stuff to make people laugh like clowns.
Well, here's my thing, though. At the end of the day, if you are going to a comedy show, there's always a chance you can get capped on. If you're going to an event that is hosted by a comedian, there is always a chance that you could get roasted. That is part of the whole deal. And are you going to slap somebody every time you may be sitting in the front row and a comedian roast you? Me and Drina go on a lot of cruises, and I've seen comedians roast people in the audience to oblivion. And again, it was a part of the whole thing, the part of the comedy that happens. So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe Will felt personally about it because maybe Chris did know that she had alopecia. Go ahead.
How many times have we seen Will Smith go up and slap somebody for what they said about his wife?
Never. We've never seen it.
Okay, so no one's saying that a man has to protect his wife absolutely every time, but sometimes, in cases, the man may feel like he needs to. Now, if we go and see Will Smith slapping everybody from now on here on, and like, okay, yeah, Will Smith, you can't react to every little thing. But this is the first time, so we have to just see, how he. I don't think that. I think we're looking at it a little bit different. I just
Mr.
saw a
Creek.
husband.
Well, let
protect his
me
wife.
bring it down to a normal level.
I'm also going to say, I'm also.
Go ahead. What were you about to say?
I was also going to say, I have a wide variety of like diverse friends from me being in the military, and not like kind of like comparing the different communities to our community. A lot of my other race Facebook friends didn't see a problem with it. Maybe they don't know the depth of their relationship or what, or like the rumors, whatever case may be. Maybe just only Black people know. But I saw a huge thing about them saying that, he protected his wife versus the men in our community. Like, oh, why would he do that? Jada humiliated him, whatever case may be. At the end of the day, it's still his wife. He still has that obligation. He's still married to her.
Well, I've seen a lot of Black men defending Will Smith. I've seen a lot disagreeing with him. I don't think it's so much as a Black man or white man thing, because I've seen white men do crazy things too. And the only reason I'm comparing is because you brought up people from a different community. So I don't think that has anything to do with it per se. I just think it's a person individually, because I saw plenty of Black men co-signing what Will did, and I saw plenty of them who did not co-sign. Me personally, I felt both sides. I understood both sides, because now, again, I said his manhood has been tested in front of him. But at the same time, as a person who frequents comedy shows a lot, if I was to go up and slap somebody every time a comedian said something about me or said something about my chick, then we would never ever go to another comedy show ever again. Now, it's never happened. But you have to pick your battles. And again, with them being famous, it is difficult to contrast and compare. But I think a lot of people feel comfortable enough to say those things because they know that she has embarrassed him. And if she has embarrassed him and he's going to do nothing about it, men have become comfortable enough to say what they want to say in front of him, and Will's not going to respond at all. Now, again, I think Will knew who to do that to, because I don't think he would have did that to any and everybody. Like I said, I don't think he would have did that to a white comedian. I don't think he would have did that to a gay comedian. And I also don't think he would have did that to somebody like a 50 Cent or something like that. He did it to Chris Rock because Chris Rock is a punching bag, the court gesture, as Nurse Roxy would say. But in my thought about it, at the end of the day, fellas, be careful who you wifing up.
Well, I'll say this.
You don't think that?
I'm gonna get everybody's final thoughts. I'm gonna go in a circle. I'll start with Japrice because she was talking. Then I'm gonna go Nurse Roxy, James, MP, and then Danny. But go ahead, Japrice. What you about to say?
I cold-heartedly think that it was staged, but if
Me too.
I'm looking at
the
it
end of the day,
as at the end of the day, but if we're looking at it, if we're looking at it in a real aspect, then my views are my views. Also, I want to say, like, you guys don't honestly think that Will Smith has a say so or knows what Jada is going to talk about, what's going to be put out there, because I honestly cannot see all this stuff being put out about their marriage, about him, or about whoever else, just hitting him in the blind spot. I honestly feel like he has some type of, he's aware of it, and I'm quite sure if he didn't want it out there, he would have the say so, and he would not allow what is put out.
Okay. Nurse
I
Roxy.
agree with that.
I think Japrice made an excellent point, because I've never seen anything on Red Table Talk as shocking or surprising. I always thought that this was a part of Will kind of letting Jada kind of create her own brand, because he knows that Jada, for the most part, lives in his shadow. Now, for some women, like you said, LeBron James' wife, obviously living in the shadow was like, I'm fine. I'm paid, laid, and get my bills paid. I don't need to be upfront. But of course, with Jada being in the industry before she even got with Will, maybe that need to be recognized and acknowledged and have a career is still something that means something to her. You can't knock her for it because they met with her already being in the career. He didn't put her on, so that's one thing. So I do agree with Caprice on that. But I do think that we have to be very careful. I said it before, but I'll just repeat it, because it comes across seeming as though that there is a mindset of men not protecting women. And that is you're going to always be confronted with that, especially in this situation, because when he sat back down, what he followed his actions by saying, keep my wife's name out your mouth. 6 years ago, there was already that. I mean, if you watch that monologue from the Oscars 6 years ago, he humiliated not only just the Black community as a punching bag to minimize the Oscars so white. He played the mess out of Jada. Jada wasn't there, but she was the butt of the joke. And the whole Academy is sitting there laughing about the jokes that Chris Rock made about Jada. So quite frankly,
you think it might have been personal. It might have been more personal.
And I think that he wanted to make it was a 6 years ago. It was a public humiliation thing. And I think Will Smith wanted to clear the slate and say, okay, now I'm gonna give y'all something different to talk about when y'all mention my wife. Because 6 years ago the whole room was a tickle when Chris Rock was saying what he said, the whole Rihanna thing. It was a Jada not being invited to the Academy Awards is like me not being invited to Rihanna's panties, something like that. But something like, it was that kind of thing, kind of like, oh, please, Jada, go sit down somewhere. Nobody's even worried about you. So I think Will probably felt like it was overdue. And so he got what was coming to him. But it was I think pent up over 6 years or so.
But see, this is what happens when you dance with the devil, though. The Oscar so white. You did this whole campaign about them being so white and how they disrespecting Black actors and all that kind of stuff. But you go right back when it's convenient for you. That's a whole nother topic.
But that's part of what Chris was saying too. Chris was pretty much saying the only reason why you complaining about it, because if outside of this, you'd have been in here. If you had a film, it wouldn't be Oscar so white. You'd have sat here and ignored everything else that was going on. But because Will wasn't being nominated for something, that's now why you're seeing all this Oscar so white. And so the same thing happened. The mom, the dark skinned version of the mom from the Prince of Bel-Air, she said that too. Because she was on that whole thing too when she heard the Oscar so white that she's like, please, Jada only doing that because Will ain't been nominated for something. Like that was like pretty much the energy. Jada was speaking up for Will, and essentially people were saying if Will would have got nominated, Jada wouldn't have been talking about Oscar so white.
Okay, James, what are your final thoughts?
Well, to piggyback on what you said, I mean, if it was so offensive, and then you have the opportunity to get on to be front row in the Oscars, I don't think you would display that behavior, because now they're gonna go right back to what they with Chris. They're gonna piggyback off of Chris. Keep these Black folks out of here, because at the end of the day, man, it's their perception, what they believe in, and you're playing in their realm. And it's the context of that, and this is me saying that Black men don't protect Black women. I think it's farce, because at the end of the day, a man can only protect someone who's willing to be protected.
Facts.
And then, you know what I mean? Like, no man, I say this to my sisters. If a man humiliates you to the point where you cannot be seen with him in public, you can't protect that man. There's certain things that you can never take back. And this concept of, you know what I'm saying? Like, in reference that he's a bitch made XYZ because he didn't react a certain way. I mean, sometimes a lot of men are so defeated. They don't know what I saw was the unstable Will Smith.
Yeah.
Because he's been so defeated in so many aspects. Regardless of what we say, they have an open relationship. There's certain things that they have in context that he expects from Jada and Jada expects from him. And when those things start to break away to the point where a man can't even redeem it, like he can't even pull it back in, because at the end, he's a man, right? He's trying to control, he's trying to provide, he's trying to illustrate all these things of manhood, and he can't get a grasp of it. And then you have a woman who just says, does what she wants, acts the way she wants. It's hard. It's a bigger burden than most men can admit. And this is what you're seeing. You're seeing the repercussions of a brother who is so self-defeated. As much as we could say he's messing around with all these other things, but at the end of the day, we've never seen nothing public come out. He may say I've cheated, but it's never gotten to the point where we know Hollywood has their own functions, but it's never gotten to the point where it's like, damn, 3 years, public embarrassment, rappers, social media, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's probably going through so much mental disruption. All I can do is pray for that brother and go on.
And then, I'm about to go to MP, but then Nurse Roxy too. If the roles was reversed, and Will Smith was talking about all these entanglements that he had with a woman, publicly embarrassing him, and then Jada
women get treated like this all the time, and not only are they getting cheated on, they get beat too.
Wait. I'm talking about from a public perception because Will Smith is the celebrity. So can you imagine if Will Smith was going around talking about his entanglements, talking about he wasn't fulfilled, he didn't feel fulfilled, and he got a younger woman that he was entangled with, and then she decides to stay with him, and then she goes up and slaps somebody. Can you women around the world will be like, that's a dumb bitch? Because I've heard women say that for less.
Facts.
Some women will be calling her dumb, and some will be saying she got it right because that's her husband, just like for him. So it will still be split.
That's not a role of a woman to
Will
be
Smith,
man,
but Will Smith would not have Will Smith will be finished. He would not have a career if he pulled the type of shit Jada pulled. He will be canceled.
Well, that's not her fault. That's not his image. But there are men out here that's their image, and they can definitely do that and still keep their woman because they be out here doing anything and talking to them any kind of way, and the women still be with them. We watch Love and Hip Hop where these women competing, having babies back to back to be with these bum ass men.
No, you can't
that's Love. You can't compare Love and Hip Hop.
They
all entertainment. They are all entertainment. And Will Smith started as a rapper. His image just changed, but the whole thing is they're all still entertainment.
Miss Keith, I disagree with you on that one.
That's two totally different things.
Two different sides.
I don't feel like it's different. They all doing the same thing. They up in front of the screen.
So you think Will Smith and the Stevie J is on the same level?
I'm saying they come from the same world.
No, they could come from two different places. We could come from the same place, but do you think Will Smith and Stevie J are on the same level right now?
No, but what I'm saying is that women and women go through that all the time.
Yeah, they do.
And
but
work.
We're talking about
in
somebody.
Front of the world.
We're talking about somebody as big because it matters.
Okay, somebody as big as Wendy Williams. Ain't Wendy Williams big?
No,
and she was going through the same thing with her husband manager beating her ass, drugging her, taking her money, living with the nanny, taking pictures. The woman posting pictures all these years. She finally got fed up and quit, and now she having all these health issues. Like Wendy Williams is going through the same thing.
No,
it took her forever to leave that man. The only thing that made her leave that man was a baby, was it?
The world doesn't feel sorry for Wendy Williams because she's been an agent of chaos for the last 30 years.
Facts.
She's caused relationship issues for the last 30 years. She's talked about people publicly for the last 30 years. Nobody feels sorry for her.
It don't matter, and that's
it does matter.
I'm just saying, women and men go through the same thing.
But to the public, it does matter, though. It does because that's why people don't feel sorry for Wendy Williams when she put out that Method Man's wife had cancer.
Oof,
that was a problem.
That was a bad hit.
And that's why nobody feels sorry for Wendy Williams. She's getting.
I don't feel bad for none of these celebrities.
Well, that's cool, but
Will Smith included.
We comparing. Let's compare. Wendy is messy. You brought up Wendy, so let's talk about Wendy.
She's comparison messy. Is that they both went through it, and people was talking about her and calling her all type of dumb, just like they doing Will Smith. And she stood by his side all that time. We talking about somebody being public and big, and she did it, and she stood by him. It took a baby for her to leave. But I mean, it don't matter if the world felt bad or not. The whole thing is what if a woman went through it? Okay, well, a woman did go through it.
Because it does matter, because the perception is everything. That's why we even talking about this. It does matter, and that's why the world doesn't feel sorry for a Wendy Williams because of all the chaos she's caused. So you got to think about it. Stevie J or somebody that's on a Love and Hip Hop level is not Will Smith. They're not gonna care. Will Smith has built himself up over the last 30 years to have a certain brand. Now, regardless, if somebody who was as big as Will Smith, married, they got that perception out there, would have done the same thing and said, you know what, I'm not being fulfilled, I'm finna talk about it, how I blew this other chick's back out, Will would be canceled.
Nurse, let's say Will got the girl pregnant.
Oh my God, he be doing okay. But all right, nurse Baba T, nurse practitioner, go ahead, sir. And then
it's really been a pleasure listening to you guys, Roxy, James, and everybody. It's been a pleasure. But like I mentioned earlier, I'm looking forward to the next episode of the Red Table Talk. So no. The reason I brought that up because I mentioned earlier that I don't think the wife is gonna do the same thing for the husband like he did for her. And if she really cares about Will, let's see if she's gonna bring up any of his stuff again. And I'm willing to bet you she's gonna run him down the hall. It's gonna be worse than last season. I'm telling you. She's gonna do him dirty even more than she did last time. And I was kind of shocked about Roxy saying that she didn't feel shocked about anything that came out from the Red Table last season. I'm like, wow, really? Nothing shocked you from the last episode of the Red Table? She said too much. That was too. I mean, it was so much. People were putting out stuff to start to cancel them from just speaking to the media. Remember that? They said, don't speak to the media no more. This shit is too much. So I'm just looking forward to the next episode. I mean, I'm telling you, she's going to take it to the next level. And I can't wait for that turn wreck. I can't wait. All right. Thank you, guys.
All right. My sister's keeper. Any last thoughts?
I think all of it is hilarious. I just thought it was ironic that he got upset enough for his woman that everybody is swearing to God is the worst thing for him, but he loved it there. I'm proud of him for standing up for her.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that has been today's show. I appreciate you being here. Fellas, honestly, man, I talk about grinding, becoming the best part of yourself, especially with this nursing thing. Like I said, today, it's evolved. People have evolved. Relationships, women have evolved. Fellas, you have to be careful as a man, especially when you go into that 20%. You have to be careful with who you're dealing with. I would say get you a woman who doesn't embarrass you, who won't put you in positions to where you got to go off the rails or situations like that. Or, just get you somebody who respects you as a man, regardless of what the public may think or blah, 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 blah. Again, when it comes to this Will Smith situation, I really don't care. But for content purposes, we talked about it. Was Will wrong for slapping Chris Rock? That's up to you to decide. Me personally, I think he should have handled it a different way, but I understand why he did what he did, especially with all the stuff that's been going on over the past couple of years. But yeah, choose wisely. I think that's the message that I would like to get across at the end of the day. But let me ask y'all a question. God damn it, I'm looking for the joke that Danny sent me the other day. I'm about to see if I can find it. But are y'all ready for the joke of the day?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What does a deaf gynecologist do? What does a deaf, and you can't say it, Danny, because you told me. What does a deaf gynecologist do? They read lips. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my God, CJ, CJ, I hope you're studying tonight for your books, your course.
Yep, they read lips. That was Danny sent me that joke, so I have to give her the credit for that. I thought that was hilarious when I read that. Because I was thinking about it for a while too. She said the gynecologist thing, and I'm like, what do they read? Well, that's gynecologist. And then when she said it, I was like, nigga.
When I told you know who got that joke when I told it?
Who?
Bloom and Ebony. She knew the answer. She was like, I just thought about it. She figured it out.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
But that has been today's episode. I'm so happy that y'all got a chance to join me, all the people that came up on the panel, and we are going to see this story unfold. I don't know if I'm going to cover every single part of it because I think it's old at this point. I don't think people will be talking about it next week, but it is what it is. And once again, I thank y'all for coming, and I thank y'all for watching. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I bid you adieu. Get paid, young nurse. Get paid. Peace.
God bless you, brother. Bye.